Requiring verification of a debt, your secret weapon against the debt collectors. Brought to you by Kenneth Chabert at yourlegallegup.com. Your advantage if you're being sued by debt collectors. Requiring verification is one of the easiest and best tools the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, FDCPA, gives you if you're being harassed by debt collectors. And in my opinion, consumers don't use this one nearly enough. It is often enough all by itself to convince the debt collector to leave you alone and look elsewhere for its victims. So what is verification, and how do you require it? Verification isn't much. It is simply a formal step by the debt collector to make sure you are the right person to pursue for a valid debt. It doesn't take much. A call to the supposed original creditor, possibly no more than reconfirming the records claiming you owe the money. The process is probably totally automated by most debt collectors. Still, many of my clients have told me that requesting verification was enough to make the debt collector go away for good. My guess, and it is just a guess, is that seeking verification is a red flag for the debt collector, that you know your rights and intend to stand up for them. So what exactly is your right? Under the FDCPA, the first written communication from a debt collector must inform the consumer of his or her right to require verification of the debt, if the request is made within 30 days. Before verifying the debt collector is not permitted to take any further collection efforts. Although what is a collection effort for the purposes of the statute isn't always exactly clear. If they've already commenced a lawsuit against you, for example, I think they can continue with that. But they probably can't file suit against you on the debt before verifying it if you've already asked. Reporting back to you completes the verification process. In other words, they haven't verified it until they've told you that the debt is valid. If the debt collector proceeds without verifying the debt first, you have a right to sue it. As I mentioned, the obligation is not very significant, and yet even this minor obstacle will make the debt collection company go away surprisingly often. You should do it for two reasons. First, it does often make them go away, and second, there's a possibility that the debt collector will simply ignore the law. Debt collectors are famous, or infamous, for doing just that, and then you would have the right to sue the debt collector. That right to sue the debt collector will be important eventually as a way to extinguish the debt permanently later. So how do you actually require verification? It is really very easy. All you do is, when you receive a debt collection letter, you simply write back to the debt collector and tell it that you dispute the debt and request immediate verification. No special language required. No special delivery required either, although it helps you to prove it later if you send a request by registered mail, return receipt requested, so I do suggest that. But what happens if you're just being telephoned and they haven't written you? Under the FDCPA, a phone collector is required within 5 days of the first contact to send you in writing a notice of your right to dispute the debt. Failure to do that is a violation of the FDCPA. Remember that every debt collector is different, and each one is required by law to provide you the right to dispute the debt and require verification. Although by debt collector here I'm not talking about the individuals who happen to be calling you, but the company that they're calling you for. Get in the habit of standing up for your rights, starting with the right to seek verification. Debt collectors are looking for the easiest ways to make their profits, and standing up for your rights lets them know that you won't be easy. To get more help on fighting debt collectors and their lawsuits, go to yourlegallegup.com. Get my litigation manual and forms, and defend yourself from the debt collectors.